Historical Reconstruction of Aryan X.
Episode 75, Analysis of Elam Empire and Indian History, and the Doppelganger of History. 1. Elam Empire. I will reveal the identity of the history of the Elam Empire, which was said to be in the Middle East. First, let's reveal the meaning of Elam. Regarding Elam, El has the same meaning as the El of El Dorado and El Salvador, which is the same as the Al of Al or Ral, the origin of humanity in Central Asia. Lam has the same meaning as the Bright One of Lama and Rome. We can see that the name Elam is a place name of Turkmenistan, Central Asia. Then, could it be that their history was also the Scythian Aryan-centered history of Central Asia transplanted here to the Middle East? 1. Location of Elam. Quoting Wikipedia, Elam or the Elamite Empire is one of the oldest civilizations with remaining records. Elam was a civilization or empire centered on the lowlands of Elam province in the far west and Khuzestan province in the far southwest of present-day Iran and southern Iraq. Elam was located to the east of the Sumerian civilization and the Akkadian Empire, which were located in present-day Iraq. The Elamite Empire existed from around 2700 BC to 539 BC. Before the Elamite Empire era, there was the Proto-Elamite era, which began around 3200 BC as the culture of the Iranian plateau spread west and started to influence the ancient city of Susa in present-day Khuzestan province, Iran. During the Old Elamite period, 2700 BC to 1600 BC, Elam consisted of a federation of various kingdoms located on the Iranian plateau, and its center was the ancient city of Anshan. Afterwards, from around 1500 BC, Susa in the lowlands of Khuzestan province became the center. The golden age of the Elamite Empire was the Shutrikid dynasty of the Middle Elamite period, 1500 BC to 1100 BC. The Elamite Empire fell when the Achaemenid Empire captured Susa, the capital of Elam at the time, in 539 BC. It is said that the main stage of the Elam Empire was Iran and Iraq. The restoration of history must be done very clearly based on common sense. It must also be based on place names consistent with the present. The stage of Elam is said to be Iran and Iraq, and it was destroyed by the Achaemenid Empire of the Middle East. Then the answer is simple. If we only reveal the identities of Iran and Iraq and the identity of the Achaemenid dynasty, we can reveal without difficulty which region's history the Elam Empire actually was in history. First, I said that the capital of Iran, which was the territory of the Elam Empire, is Tehran. Regarding Tehran, Te was said to be land, like the Te of Athens. Haran was said to be Haran, the Greece of Hera and Hela. Wow, it says that Tehran, the capital of Iran, the suzerain state of Shia Islam, is Greece, the land of Hela. Also, regarding Islam, Isil of Islam, Isil of Islamabad, and Is of Istanbul were said to mean outside. Lam was said to be the Bright One, a Buddhist term of Lama and Rome. The Lamb of Elam and the Lamb of Islam had the same meaning. Also, I said that Baghdad, the capital of Iraq, which is said to be the territory of the Elam Empire, is a pure Korean word meaning the bright land of Baghdad. The two rivers in the Mesopotamia region of Iraq where the Sumerian civilization was said to be are Tigris and Euphrates. Among them, regarding Tigris, T means land like the T of tiara. Gris was said to be the Greece we know as the origin of European civilization. It says that Iran and Iraq, where the Elam Empire was said to be, are Greece of the Greek civilization sphere. With current national names and place names in like this, is there any way the content of fabricated history in Wikipedia could be correct? Now, it was said that this Elam Empire was destroyed by the Achaemenid Empire, the protagonist of Middle Eastern history. Then, if we just reveal that this Achaemenid Empire was the history of the Scythian Aryans who were in Turkmenistan, Central Asia, it will be revealed that the history of the Elam Empire, fabricated and transplanted to the Middle East, was the history of the Scythian Aryans of Turkmenistan, Central Asia. 2. Etymology of Elam. Quoting Wikipedia, the Elamites called their country Haltamti or Hatamti. In late Elamite, it was called Atamti. In neighboring Sumer, adjacent to Elam, it was called Elamki or Elam. In Akkadian, Elamu was used as a masculine noun and Elamitu as a feminine noun. In Sumerian, Elam means highlands or mountainous regions. In the Old Testament, it appears as Elam, the name used by neighboring countries. In Genesis and Ezra, Elam appears as a descendant of Elam, the eldest son of Shem. Elam, originally a country of highlands, was gradually identified with Susa, the later capital located in the lowlands in later generations. As a result, geographers after Claudius Ptolemaeus, 83 to 168, called Elam Susania. Although even present-day Fars province of Iran entered the territory of the Elamite civilization in prehistoric times, the center of the Elamite civilization was mainly present-day Khuzestan province of Iran.
The name of present-day Khuzestan province, Khuzestan, is derived from the Old Persian root hujia, meaning Elam, highlands or mountainous regions. Now, stop the nonsense of the encyclopedia. I will reveal the truth. Regarding Hatamti, another name for Elam, Ha has the meaning of Shah, Shaka, or Scythian. Tam Ta has the meaning of land, like the Ta of Altai. Ti was also said to mean land. Regarding Elamitu, El has the meaning of Allah, like the Ral or Al of Central. Mi has the meaning of mountain, like the Mi of Pamir. Tu was said to mean land. I said Elam is not the son of Shem appearing in Genesis at the name of a region. Then the identity of the content of the Christian Bible is also quite strange. I said the place name suffix stan of Khuzestan. Khuzestan is a pure Korean word used in the national names of Central Asian countries, meaning someone's land. Now then, since it was said that the Elam Empire was destroyed by the Achaemenid Empire, if we reveal that all Middle Eastern history is centered on the Scythian Aryans who were in Turkmenistan, Central Asia, it will be revealed that the history of the Elam Empire was the history of Central Asia. I will reveal all the history of Achaemenid in the analysis of Middle Eastern history. The current Middle Eastern history is the history of Turkmenistan, Central Asia, transplanted exactly to the Middle East.
Analysis of Indian history. I said that Cheonchakguk, Heaven India, the center of Buddhism transplanted to the current India, was the history of Seoul, which opened the sky and was the origin of humanity in Turkmenistan, Central Asia. The core of all history fabrication is to disturb and erase the center of Turkmenistan, Central Asia, which was the homeland of Scythian Aryans and the origin of humanity, and to fabricate the national name India, Indo, which was a place name of Central Asia, and Cheonchakguk, Heaven India, the Holy Land of Buddhism, onto the current India. Therefore, what you can feel when entering the main history of the current India is the fact that the entire Indian history is a duplication of the 25 histories of China, which were in Turkmenistan, Central Asia. Therefore, if we have a firm belief about Cheonchakguk of Central Asia, that is, the center of Scythian Aryans, we will be able to pierce through any fabrication and see the truth. I quote ancient books explaining Cheonchakguk of Central Asia, where Sakyamuni Buddha resided. The Buddha who opened the sky in Central Asia is Virochana, meaning begun, the first from whom everything afterwards originated. The Tathagata, meaning the Buddha who came as is, yo-yo, like this. He is the Virosana Tathagata Buddha, the protagonist Buddha of the Virosana Tathagata painting in the Avatamsaka Sutra illustration. This means that this Buddha was called the Shaka Buddha or Seka Buddha of Quito, Kitai, Carter, or Scythian of the Bright Land. Looking at Cheonchakguk, described in the Daiwanjan, its people fight wars riding elephants. The country borders a large river. This content fabricated the geography and scenery to make one think of Cheonchakguk of historical Central Asia as the current India. Modern people after the 20th century naturally think of the region of current India, not Central Asia, when they hear elephants. Now, Cheonchakguk of Turkmenistan, Central Asia, has completely transformed into the current India. In the Book of the Later Hand, Treatise on the Western Regions, Cheonchakguk, the center of Buddhism, is also called Sindokguk, Sendu. It says the country borders a large river, practices the way of the stupa, Budodo, and does not engage in wars of conquest that kill people. The fabrication of this sentence is truly peculiar. It places Cheonchakguk, the center of Central Asian Buddhism, in the Treatise on the Western Regions of the Book of the Later Hand, which is the history of the Central Asian emperor, and describes it as the Western Regions, an external land. The content of the entire sentence is about Cheonchakguk, the center of Central Asian Buddhism, but due to this phrase, Cheonchakguk of the Treatise on the Western Regions, meaning a place name of the external world, we end up understanding Cheonchakguk of Central Asian Buddhism as describing the Gandhara kingdom fabricated in the current India. The saying that Cheonchakguk practices the way of the stupa, Budodo, and does not engage in wars of conquest seems to explain the Tao Te Ching of Laozi. Deducing from this passage, the Tao of Laozi's Tao Te Ching would be precisely the Buddhist way of the stupa, Budodo. In other words, Laozi's Taoism, Sengyo, and Buddhism were one and the same. In the Funamjan, it is said that the native Taoist law of Cheonchakguk is in circulation. Gold, silver, and precious stones are piled up enormously, and the mountains and rivers are rich and fertile. Saying they express great will to their heart's content is the same as the content of Guo Po's commentary. Even if we concede thousands of times and assume this Chianchakguk is the Gandhara region of current India, native Taoist law of Chianchuk does not mean the Gandhara of current India, bound by the current fabricated caste system. The phrase express great will to their heart's content suddenly makes one feel incredibly refreshed. Isn't this Hong-ik Ingon, the founding ideology of Scythian Aryans to widely benefit humanity? Is this not also the will of Dai Bung, the great phoenix? Is it not the meaning of guarding the exact center of the universe and the world? Doesn't it seem like the wind of Pengriu immortals is rising in waves? Doesn't it remind you of the brave devotion of a great man? Truly, how good would it be if my children expressed such great will? The content of Buddhism known to modern humanity is precisely the history and content of Buddhism, the bright teaching that was in the origin of humanity in Turkmenistan, Central Asia, fabricated and transplanted to the current India. In the current India, where Buddhism is said to have been born, there are no people practicing true Buddhism. This is the reality. Now, very simply for you, I will conclude Indian history by simply organizing in a table which period or dynasty's history of Turkmenistan, Central Asia, was altered to become the Indian history transplanted and fabricated in the current India. Revealing the contents of fabricated history is indeed a shameful task, but the truth is the truth. Indian history. Mehrgar, 7000 to 3300 BCE, Hanun era to Hanun era. Mehrgar is a Korean village. Indus Valley Civilization, 3300 to 1700 BCE, Hanun era to Shah dynasty. Vedic period, 1500 to 500 BCE, Shang dynasty to Spring and Autumn period. Mahajanapadas, 700 to 300 BCE, history of the Qin state in Spring and Autumn and Warring states. Magadha, 545 to 550 CE, Qin state of Spring and Autumn to Western Jin, Eastern Jin, Southern dynasties. Maurya, 321 to 184 BCE, history of the Qin dynasty of Emperor Qin Shi Huang in Warring states. Satavahana, 230 BCE to 220 CE, history of Western Han, Sin, Eastern Han. Kushan, 60 to 240 CE, history of the Eastern Han. Gupta, 280 to 550 CE, history of Dai, North Wei. Gurjara Pratihara, 740 to 1018 CE, history of Balhae, early Song dynasty. Delhi Sultanate, 1206 to 1526 CE, Mughal history before King Sangjong of Joseon. Mughal Empire, 1526 to 1858 CE, Korean history after King Sangjong of Joseon. If you refer to the chronological table above and organize by comparing historical contents with each other, you will see truly amazing scenes. If you have any difficulties, please contact me anytime and I will help you. In the next episode, the first coup occurred in the Dangun era, the primordial emperor of Chejong-bunli. I will introduce the protagonist. Who was he in Chinese history? Please refer to the attached blog for details regarding the YouTube video release schedule and titles, as well as the title and table of contents of the prepared book. https://www.naver.com/blog/Go Kim Garcia.